Okay, welcome back to class. This is guitar and song, song and guitar, guitar performance, guitar and voice, whatever the name of this song class is. This is about playing music. So last time we introduced the song as Wicked Game by Isaak, and so hopefully you've had a chance to go and YouTube it to watch a performance. My personal favorite performance is live from New York City. It's from '95 and it's the acoustic session for MTV. It's the exact same place where they did Nirvana's Unplugged. So, or at least to my knowledge, it's the same place. So, we talked about the chords involved, which are the B minor chord, the A major chord, and the E major chord. And you might recall that when I described these chords, I gave you numbers. And those numbers correspond to the frets where you're going to push down on those strings. So if you're just a beginner and you're not sure about these chord names, you've never held them before, maybe last week was tricky for you, just go step by step. So the top string for the B minor chord, you play nothing. And that second string down, you hold down with your index finger on that second fret. So it's right there. Okay. And the next string is the D string, and you're holding that with your ring finger. Okay? The next string is the G string. You're holding that with your pinky, also on that fourth fret. And finally, your middle finger is going to hold down the B string on the third fret. And there's nothing being played by the top two. We try not to play those though. Again, I gave you a choice last week, or last class, and I told you, you can either play with the index on that A string, or you can cover all 6 strings with that index finger and do what we call a bar. So this is a bar chord. And this takes a lot of strength in your hand. So if you're not experienced, then don't worry about it yet. But if you can, I say go for it. So that's the B minor chord. The next chord we needed was the A major chord, and that was 0, so from the top, 0, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, okay? That's A major. Again, 0, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0. And the last one was E major. So we're doing 0 on the top, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0. E major, okay? So 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0. And those are the 3 chords you use for this song. And it repeats over and over and over and over and over again. And that's the whole thing. That's all you do. So what I recommend is pull up that YouTube video of his performance, of Isaak's performance in his band. Pull up that video and see if you can just follow the chords with him. So... And you might be wondering, how did he go so fast? Take the time to practice the chords first. Just get comfortable changing from B minor to A major to E major. It takes time. So if you find yourself spending a lot of time on the transitions between the chords, then go slowly, methodically, and give yourself a chance to practice it. Give yourself the opportunity to fail. Okay, and spend a little bit of time doing that. Now, I want to just adjust this, and I want to talk about the right hand. So the left hand, you're going to be doing the chords with. You're going to do B minor, A major, E major, okay? Now, the right hand, and this was brought up by one of my students, Nigel, so thank you, shout out to Nigel for bringing this up. The strumming pattern is something that people want to do. They want to know how to do the song correctly. So to strum the song proper, I would suggest a simple strumming pattern like, so down, down, up, and you can just practice this. Okay, so you just do this maybe a few times. So I'm going down, down, up, okay? And I would follow this pattern up with another one. So it would be, and this is the next part. Really simple actually. So it's down, down, up, down, up. Okay, so again, down, down, up, down, up. That's it. So try it on your own. Just like that. Okay, so you do that. And you transition after that last strum. So again. And you notice that when he plays the E major chord, he holds it twice as long as the other two, right? So you go. And you can play lots of different patterns. You can play, for this even, just down strums. And that's totally acceptable, okay? But if you want to get close to the correct pattern, the correct strumming pattern, then I would go with what I said, and that will get you close to what he does in the performance. Now keep in mind that when you are playing guitar and singing songs, that a lot of times performers, myself included, we are in the moment, and so we don't always do things consistently. We may pause, we may stop playing, we may play things differently between each performance, and that's totally normal. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right and wrong way, really. We just want it to sound good. We want it to sound real, okay? So now we have to talk about the performance and the song itself. So I'm gonna move a window out of the way, and I'm going to do the first part of the song, okay? The world was on fire and no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire would make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. So that's the first verse. That's the very beginning of the song. And you might be wondering, well, how in the world am I going to sing and play? And what I just did was the simplest you could do. And the reason you want to make it simple in the beginning is to give your voice a chance to fail. Because when you're first singing, maybe you have no experience singing at all, but you really want to be able to. You really want to be able to perform, play guitar, and sing at the same time. So give yourself space and listen to the notes. Listen. And now the hard part is probably, well, what is the note I sing? What am I supposed to do? And for that, I recommend going to that video and putting in your ear pods, even right now while you're listening to my class or doing this video. Listen to his performance too and switch back and forth. Just hit the pause button on me, hit the play button on him, and listen to how he sings that first line, right? So, the world was on fire. And you just have to copy it until it sounds exactly right. If we were working in person, it would be a lot easier for me to tell you which note exactly you should sing. But for the sake of speed and efficiency, I think it's best to just listen to him, sing back, and see if you can sing at the same key and with the same rhythm as him. Okay? So again, you strum, and as you strum, you start the first line. The world was on fire. And if you need to, break it into chunks, okay? That's how you learn a song. Break each piece into a chunk. So the world was on fire. Repeat that over and over again until you get it right. So, the world was on fire. And maybe do it again. The world was on fire. Until you know it's close, all right? So, the world was on fire. And now you're done with B minor, so you're going to go to A major. So you change. And no one could save me. So, and no one could save me, and no one could save me but you. And there comes that E major chord, right? So then you just work those pieces together until the transition is nice and lovely. So, The world was on fire and no one could save me but you. Now it might be a little bit wrong in places if you really listen closely to the exact, notes that he's singing. But again, it changes from performance to performance, and that's totally fine. But get the overall performance down and copy what he's doing. So again, the world was on fire and no one could save me but you. Then you're going to sing the exact same pattern in terms of the notes, just with different words. Okay, so again, the same musical pattern, the same melody with your voice, but on different words. So now we sing, it's strange what desire will make foolish people do. Now if you don't have the words, now's a good time to just, use the common sense tactic and Google Wicked Game Chris Isaak lyrics, right? And you'll see a list and you can work with me on this. So first two lines, and again, you're always breaking it into pieces and then repeating it and getting more confidence. So this would be B minor. The world was on fire and no one could save me but you. Back to B minor. It's strange what desire will make foolish people do. Now this is where it changes, right? The voice changes a lot. So you're gonna have to practice, and maybe you start with a hum. So you play B minor, and the words are I never dreamed. So you gotta get that voice in there. Maybe start humming. And listen to him, listen to me, and listen to yourself, and figure out, does that sound right? I never dreamed. And just work that piece. I never dreamed, I never dreamed, I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. So again, you do it. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. And the rhythm of your playing and singing isn't that important, right? Just important that you're working on that voice, trying to get the notes right. And I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. And we repeat the same pattern with different words. And I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. And that's the whole verse. So now you're going to go back through again. The world was on fire and no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire will make foolish people do. Up high. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. And if you can get that much, that's awesome, because that's a verse. And there are several verses in this song that have the same melodic pattern, the same melody for the voice, but with different words, and that's okay. Now comes the chorus. And this is where the emotions kind of can get in the way of your singing sometimes. And it's important to be relaxed and focus on just trying to emulate what they're doing, trying to copy and trying to make it sound right. So, no, I don't want to fall in love. And don't worry about the rhythm so much. Strum it out and try to sing in the correct key. No, I don't want to fall in love. And you just repeat this over and over until your neighbors start kicking on the wall, right? So, no, I don't want to fall in love. And it becomes less important how, beautiful it sounds, and more important just making sure that it's right, making sure that it fits with the chord you're playing. If I sang, for example, no, I don't want to fall in love, that's not quite right. It's more Bob Dylan, right? Which kind of emphasizes Bob Dylan's genius, I suppose. But you want it to be right. You want it, or maybe right's the wrong word, but you want it to sound like it works with the chord. It shouldn't sound like it clashes, right? So you just practice, listen to him, try to produce the hum. So if you can sing high like a soprano, maybe if you're a girl or a woman, it's easier to sing a little bit higher because that's just your range. And for gentlemen, it's easier to sing a little bit lower. But that's not to say that you can't switch those, because a lot of girls sing really low and a lot of guys sing really high, myself included. So for me, it's a little more comfortable to teach and sing it by singing on the lower end, okay? And you can translate that to the higher end quite easily. You just have to find the same note that I'm singing. And I don't want to fall in love. So that's on the lower end. If I go even lower, it would be, oh, I don't want to fall in love. And if I go really high, it would be, oh, I don't want to fall in love. So you have many options depending on your range, and you have to find what's comfortable for you to sing, okay? And that's the chorus. So you just repeat it. No, I don't want to fall in love. 3. No, I don't want to fall in love. 3. With you. And simple single strums go a long way, okay? Then we come back, and if you want to start getting more advanced with it, we can start getting that strumming pattern I talked about, right? Down, down, up, down, up. So, if you want, but it's very tricky, okay? So for now, I would recommend just single strum, okay? So you just single strum B minor. What a wicked game to play, feel this way. What a wicked thing to do, to let me dream of you. What a wicked thing to say, you never felt this way. What a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you. So that's this verse, right? This verse is a little different from the other one, so maybe I misspoke before. The melody is a little different, but not that much different, okay? So listen, right? What a wicked game to play, to make me feel this way. So repeat that, right? What a wicked game to play, to make me feel this way. And I might not be singing it exactly correctly, but that's okay. I'm confident enough to just go for it, and you can listen back and make the adjustment, make sure that it sounds pretty close, okay? So, what a wicked game to play, to make me feel this way. What a wicked thing to do, to let me dream of you. What a wicked thing to say, you never felt this way. What a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you. And you might be wondering, how in the world am I gonna kick into gear like that? And that's where teaching vocals comes in. When you're singing, in the beginning, it's totally normal to be nervous and to just try to hit the note. That's okay. And a lot of that voice is going to be in your throat. It's going to be up in your head. You're going to be singing kind of with emphasis placed on your neck. But as time goes on, I want you to take deeper and deeper breaths into your stomach so that you're kind of pushing your belly out a little. And then I want you to feel like your song, your voice, and your music is coming more from your chest. So let me show you the difference between the head voice and the chest voice, as we call it. So this right here will be the head voice only. What a wicked game to play, to make me feel this way. Now I'm going to do it again with the chest voice only. What a wicked game to play, to make me feel this way. And you might be able to hear that there's a little more breath behind my voice when I sing with the chest. That's not always true, but in this case it feels like it's true, right? And when I got to that last line where I sang, what a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you. I'm focusing a lot on my chest voice. I'm pushing the air out of my chest, and that takes a lot of practice. For now, I want you to focus on hitting the notes, but if you feel advanced or if you feel like you really want to push the performance, you've got to develop that chest voice. You've got to develop the ability to push the air from your diaphragm. So that means taking deep breaths and making your stomach as big in front of you as possible. I know it's kind of embarrassing, but you got to really take that breath into your stomach. And when you have it in your stomach, you can now start to expunge it by pushing with your muscle, so your smooth muscle. You can actually push that with your mind right here in the center in your diaphragm. Okay, so that's where your diaphragm is, your chest. Okay, so you're pushing it from there, you're pushing the air out, and that allows you to get more out of your singing. Okay, so that's how you sing the chorus and the verse that comes after. After that second verse, you got it. The chorus comes back, right? No, I don't want to fall in love. No, I don't want to fall in love with you. Okay? And then we go back again into the very same pattern as the beginning. So, the world was on fire and no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire will make foolish lovers do. I never dreamed that I loved somebody like you. I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. And then you repeat the chorus after that. So you see the song is very simple. All right. So you got B minor, you got A major, and you got E major. You've got your strumming pattern if you want it. And maybe you're starting to get really comfortable with this song. The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. Strange what desire will make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. So you can do this your own way. You can sing it many different ways. You can sing low, you can sing high, you can push the volume in your right hand more by strumming harder or more firmly. You can sing with a falsetto, where falsetto means your voice is thinner and you're singing higher pitched. You can sing with more bass and more vibrato, which means to shake your voice a little bit to create vibrations, right? And it's up to you how you play the song. But the key is to get closer and closer to the original performance so that you can understand kind of the energy that went into creating the song, why the song is the way it is, and maybe you can relate to it, right? That's the goal in music, I think, is just to relate the music to the listener and to create an experience between yourself and them. So this is his story, and he wrote this song in a very short amount of time. And the backstory is that he was in a relationship with somebody he really shouldn't be in a relationship with, or he said that he shouldn't have been in a relationship with. And she was going to leave to visit him. She was going to come over to his house. And he knew it was a big mistake, but he couldn't stop himself. And so he wrote this, right? No, I don't want to fall in love with you. And this may apply to you, this may not. Maybe you've never had this experience, maybe you have, but I think the energy that went into creating it can be felt, regardless of you experiencing the exact same detail. So again, the closer you get to his performance or his expression, the more I think you can understand what he's trying to tell people, or the better you can articulate kind of that energy, right? Versus if you played it incorrectly, or if you played it in a different speed, or if you played different chords, it would completely change the vibe of the song. So really focus on the chord transitions. And get comfortable with that process of changing those chords. Now, in a future class, I'd be happy to teach you a different way to play these chords. There are different ways. For example, I could play it up here on the 7th fret. But for the sake of simplicity, I will leave that out, and we'll focus on the shapes that I taught you in the first day and reviewed today. You might have noticed that my thumb was coming up on top, and this is a bad habit. And I have to sometimes consciously force myself to get that thumb down behind in the middle of the neck. And this is something that I think when guitarists get a little lazier, they start doing it, but you should not do it early on. Early on, I think it's very important to have the habit of the thumb behind in the middle of the neck, behind the neck, right? So not on top. So practice that as well. Okay. And we're getting up to the end here, so after these next 3 minutes, I want you to spend at least 30 minutes practicing this song, all right? But before we do, let's talk about this little ending, okay? So he sings, "No, and he holds it through the next one. And then it stops completely, right? And he just goes, "Nobody loves no one." So listen carefully to the words, right? So, nobody loves no one. That's more or less the correct notes for that last melodic line. Nobody loves no one. And just again, strum each one. Nobody loves no one. And whenever you get lost, whenever you feel like you're singing the wrong note, or if you feel like it's just really difficult, go very, very slowly in the beginning and see if you can copy what they're doing. If you can't, and none of this has worked so far, try picking up the speed, because sometimes changing up the speed can unlock potential. So again, I went for it, right? I just went. The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. And in your case, it might help to just go for it. Maybe you'll just get it that way. Maybe you won't. I definitely err on the side of going steady and methodically, right? The world was on fire. And if you don't get that much right, then just stop there and try it again. The world was on fire. The world was on fire. I think that's right, just from my memory. I could pop in the song and listen to it, but the world was on fire and no one could save me but you. And go line by line until you get to the very end of the song. And then, by the time you even get to the end, you will have repeated it so many times that you're just going to be confident as all get out. You'll be able to pick up the guitar, you'll start strumming those chords, and it will come to you. And the only thing getting in your way at that point is remembering the darn lines. Because that does happen. We do forget the lyrics a lot, even when they're our own songs. And I am guilty of this. So, go forth, spend at least 30 minutes working on this song, all right? And I want you to be able to go all the way, top to bottom, singing those lyrics and getting it all done in one clean performance, if you can, all right? Uninterrupted, with no, oops, I gotta start over. You gotta keep going. That's the #1 rule of performing. you have to keep going. The show must go on. You cannot